we are super thrilled to have you in our house here at Diefenbaker Drama Society. So you're going to see the Quartet. Who's excited for a show? Woo! Confidence. Like, it just takes so much of a community to put this on, from the people that live in the house with the characters to everyone that lives in the house with the set people and the painters and all of our tech people and all of our musicians. So we're really thrilled to have you here, and there's been a lot of heart and a lot of soul since this process started in September, and we all know that production has its highs and has its lows, but this is the day that we all get to see it come together. And we're really excited with our collaboration with Cowtown Opera. You will just be blown away, not only from your students and your children that are standing on stage, but by the end of all of us standing together on stage. So we're just thrilled to have you in our house. Please enjoy our show.
Reginald Paget, bad hip, sensitive soul, slight tremors in his hand. Cecily Robson, bad hip, early Alzheimer's. Wilfred Bond, bad hip, but doesn't stop him from incessant flirting / playboying. The new one. Jean Horton, bad hip, vain from what I've heard, temper tantrums on occasion, bad hip.
Good morning, Dr. Kogan. How's it that every time I lay my eyes on you, my pacemaker skips a beat?
Wilf, you know as well as I do that you don't have a pacemaker.
Not yet anyway, but you keep dressing like this, and it won't be long before my heart beats right into my chest. Is that a new skirt you're wearing, Dr. Kogan? It clings to you beautifully. And how it accentuates your already beautiful legs.
Wilf, you do love to show your admirations, but you must simmer down. I'm a married woman after all.
Oh, I'm simmering with the thought of you, Doctor. I'm afraid if you just get any closer, I might just boil over. May I tell you, Sissy, that in all honesty, you have the most beautiful face I have ever seen. In fact, your whole being causes me to pulsate with desire. I tell you what I'd like to do to you. I'd like to take you out to dinner when you least expect it. You'd like that, wouldn't you?
Oh, do stop it, Wolf. The joke is wearing thin.
Which is more than you can say for Sissy. You were always a bit of a goer, weren't you, Sissy? From my own observation years ago, of course, I bet you would have loved having a man like me around. Am I right?
Please, Wilfred, I've asked politely.
Stage hands and electricians seem to be your fancy. You weren't too keen on your fellow artistes, were you, Chuck? You weren't too keen on me or Reggie there. But I tell you, you should have coupled with me in those far-off days beyond recall. I can't say I've made the wild geese fly, but we sure enjoyed ourselves, that's for sure. I fancy you then, and I fancy you now.
Do stop it, Wilfred. You're beginning to repeat yourself. You've been on about the wild geese all week.
I know, but I can't help it. Talking dirty to Sissy excites me. It's the only thing that does these days. The fact is, Reg, I think about women all bloody day and all bloody night. Do you suppose I'm peculiar? Sure, with Sissy is that she liked a little bit of grit and grime in her men. I was too refined for her.
Wolf, leave it be.
Oh, Reggie, I've just remembered. I want you to listen to this. Turn around, turn around. I think my quest is over. I think I have the question that will elicit the answer Sissy always gives when she takes off her headphones. I told you I was working on it, didn't I? Sissy, it's not too late to indulge an old man. What do you say?
I'm ready.
There, what did I tell you? I'm ready.
What's so amusing?
Oh, nothing. What have you been listening to?
Us, of course. Rigoletto. We were rather good. Why did you interrupt me? What's so urgent?
I can't remember now.
Thank God somebody else can't remember things.
I have something in mind that you have no trouble remembering. I wonder who the new arrival is.
What? There is to be a new arrival? No one told me. Who?
If I knew, I wouldn't be asking. Now would I?
Why don't they tell us these things? Why are they so secretive?
Because it's the only way they can keep control over us. Secrecy nourishes power. It's like living in North Korea.
Well, it's very disagreeable.
I'm certain it's someone grand.
What makes you say that?
I don't know, just an impression. I thought for days now something was going on. All that whispering and excitement.
Oh, I loathe the whispering. I always think they're whispering about me. Sissy Robson, Sissy
And hurrying us through breakfast is
Don't
funny.
mention breakfast in my presence!
And Il Duce and matron in a sweat. Yes, I do suspect it's someone grand.
Well, nobody else seems to know. At least no one's mentioned it. Reggie, did you know?
I am sure Ernest Hume is right. The fundamental impulse of art cannot be poetical.
Oh, don't be boring, Reggie. Instead of reading about Wagner, why not try the Kama Sutra?
Because Reggie is a gentleman, that's why, which is more than we can say for you. So glad that you're safely back from India, Reggie.
I would have loved to have sung Tristan or Siegfried, but they never came my way.
Only bloody foreigners sing Wagner. We're best at the English composers, Rossini, Donizetti, and Giuseppe Verdi.
I read somewhere that if Giuseppe Verdi had been born in England, his name would have been Joe Green. I don't think he would have had a very good career with a name like Joe Green, do you? Do you see the joke? Because Verdi is Italian. It means green.
Sissy, jokes aren't funny if you have to explain them. Stick to looking pretty. At least you're good at that.
Speaking of Verdi, any ideas for the 10th of October?
I think we should do solos.
A trio would be less demanding now, wouldn't it?
Yes, a trio. But which one? It would have to be something I know. I don't think I could learn anything new.
We'd have to have a proper meeting later.
You and your meetings, can't we just talk about it?
You know, it's very disagreeable for them to take on someone new without consulting us first.
They do it all the time. They're not obliged to consult us. They run the place, not us.
Reggie's right. We come and go, but they go on forever. When we join the heavenly choir, someone takes our room. It's the way things are. Lawrence Timms left these shores about a month ago, and right now, as we know it, is probably singing a duet with Maria Callas. We all know he'd be replaced. We all talked about it.
There are always old departures and new arrivals. A profit must be made. No need to fret.
So glad that you're safely back from India, Reggie. Did I tell you I received a check for the barber? I'm going to go see who the new arrival is. I'll be right back.
Why India?
I have no idea.
Has she relatives there?
Her father was Indian Army. Last week she was welcoming me back from the pyramids of Giza.
You certainly get about. She's become rather batty. I worry about her, you know. We don't want her sent away.
No, heaven forbid.
Dear Sissy, her face is still that of a child, unlined and innocent. Her smile lights up the darkest of rooms. I remember when I saw her, God knows how long ago, I thought she was the prettiest thing I'd ever set my eyes on. Big and bountiful. And my God, she was a busy girl, at it all the time. I tried, but didn't have any luck. She was off with a scene painter from Bethnal Green. Do you really think she'll get a check from the barber?
Probably.
Who's the Figaro?
I have it. Dylan Morgan.
Ah, bloody foreigners! Do you really think we'll get a check from a Rigoletto CD?
Very likely. I heard it was selling rather well.
Really? Where'd you hear that?
Can't remember now. Someone told me.
Rigoletto. Glad they reissued it. They might have put our pictures on the cover instead of just our names. Bloody agents! So rather handsome. Horton, Bond, Paget, Robson. Makes you feel like you're still alive. I ought to have top billing. Name part, after all. I remember the production and the recording sessions as if it were yesterday, yet I can't remember what we had for breakfast this morning.
I said don't mention breakfast!
The quartet's never been better sung.
Have you listened to it?
No. Odd that. Don't want to. Don't want to hear myself young again. What about you? Have you listened?
No, for other reasons.
Clumsy of me. Sorry to have raised it. Dizzy heights those days, Canucks rivals Gobi, front page Daily Mail, and my picture with the caption, Wilfred Bond. A new start? Question mark, I thought someone unnecessary, but alas, accurate.
Oh yes, I remember the fuss.
I was famous for a day, or was it a week? The fickle finger of fashion, but yet I was making a living, and that's all I ever wanted. I have no sensitivity. That's my problem. Unlike you, Reg, you're an artist. I'm an artisan.
Your real trouble, Wolf, is that you've always sold yourself short. You sometimes have the most amazing insights.
What a good friend you are. By the way, one good turn deserves another. I thought of a title for your autobiography. The Tenor of His Ways. How does it sound?
Not bad.
The Tenor of His Ways by Reginald Paget. That sounds handsome. By the way, how's it coming?
Slowly.
How far have you got?
I've had my first piano lesson with Mrs. Lieberman.
And how old are you?
7.
Tell me when you hit puberty, that's when it'll get interesting. Oh, that reminds me, I had a thought for you about art.
You see, you're not as uneducated as you'd like to pretend.
I wrote it down and put it somewhere because I knew I'd never remember it.
Oddly enough, I also wrote an aphorism this morning. Also about art. Where is it? Ah, here it is. The uneducated believe that art which is good is always popular, and art which is popular is never good. That is the cultural watchword of our times. I think that rather neat, don't you? The uneducated believe that art which is popular is good, but art which is good is never popular. What do you think? Do you think that's accurate?
Spot on!
I saw her. Someone ran to the right, but you'll never guess who, never.
Then tell us, we don't want to be kept in suspense for eternity.
I saw her, large as life and twice as terrifying.
Who, for God's sake?
You'll never believe this. Damn, what was her name?
Oh, come on, sissy.
No, it'll come back. Begins with G.
G? A woman, let's think.
Soprano, famous.
Famous soprano beginning with G. Galley Church.
No, she's dead. Isn't she?
I wouldn't be surprised. Come on, sissy, think.
Gilda. Our Gilda.
Oh, yes, G, our Gilda. You mean Jean Horton.
Yes, Jean Horton. Yes, how clever of you, Wilf.
Jean Horton? Here? Good God. All right, old son.
Jean, here. Are you sure?
Certain. El Duce was showing her around and basking in reflected glory. He looked like a bulldog who had just been told they weren't going to have him neutered after all.
Jean, here.
She's here.
Hello?
Welcome to Beecham House for retired musicians. Most of our residents are on the floor upstairs. This is Sir Thomas Beecham. He was one of Britain's greatest conductors.
Yes, I know who he was. He inherited a fortune. His grandfather made laxatives. Naming a nursing home after him is either frightfully accurate or in extremely poor taste.
Well, aren't these flowers lovely? The staff prepared them especially to welcome you. We're so lucky to have you here. I'll have them brought up to your room later. Your room is as large as Anne Langley's.
Oh God, is she here?
It's a beautiful suite in what we call the B wing.
Well, it sounds like a prison.
The service lift is currently being repaired, but we do have the chairlift, which will make it much easier.
Chairlift? What am I supposed to do when I get to the top? Ski down?
Let's get you to your room.
Steady, Reg. Steady.
But how could they have done this without informing me? They must have known. It's intolerable.
Did I tell her I received a check from our Rosina and the barber?
It's monstrous.
Oh no, it wasn't all that big.
After you, didn't she marry Freddie Milton?
Yes, and after Freddie Milton, she married Michael Reese. And after Michael Reese...
And she had that flame with Enrico Cardinal, didn't she? It was all in the papers.
Oh, I always thought he was light on his feet.
No. Enrico was a rather clumsy man. Did you know Enrico, Reggie? He looked like an umbrella that had been blown inside out.
Oh, shut up, sissy.
It's an outrage. Insensitive and unfeeling. Surely they were aware.
Perhaps they didn't know. You know what they're like.
Well, they should have consulted me. I shall write to my lawyer. I do not want to be treated like this. Who do they think they are? I shall leave. I shall find somewhere else. But where would I go? I've nowhere now. I've no one. Nowhere.
There, Reggie. Relax. There's a good chap. You weren't married all that long, were you?
No, not all that long.
I always thought she was cold.
They might have warned me.
Perhaps they didn't know.
If it's any consolation, she's aged terribly.
Oh yeah? How old can she be now?
A little older than me.
So what? Late 80s?
Don't be ridiculous. Much, much younger.
much. But she looked 100. I'll be back. I'll go see what's going on.
I don't want to talk about it.
Of course not.
And whatever you say or do, please don't be sympathetic.
Me? Sympathetic? I don't even know the meaning of the word.
I really can't do without this at my time of life.
Would you like to be left alone?
I said don't be sympathetic.
I'll go.
No, don't! And stop that humming, please. It's the most irritating habit. It's really terribly unfair. It's been so calm here, so agreeable. Now, Jean. I've tried to forget the past. I've blotted her out. I don't want to face any more pain. And now this, it's like waking up from an anesthetic to an unfriendly face. That is why I positively liked getting old. Age helps one to forget that which is best forgotten. In some perverse way, I've enjoyed the course of nature. The falling away of petty ambitions, the withering of ridiculous pride. And physical decay has seemed inescapable and natural. I think I can say I've welcomed the inevitable cheerfully. I lived frugally. I ate simply. Allowed myself, on doctor's orders, 1 glass of red wine a day. And I bought the occasional CD and second-hand book. I never wore the same pair of shoes 2 days running. And I always repaired my own clothes. But my one indulgence was to buy, from time to time, my favorite cologne. I scrimped and saved, and for what purpose? So that I could afford, without strain or without charity, a decent room of my very own in this house, shared by both men and women, and whom can be cared for and allowed to enjoy a dignified and tranquil serenity. Now she arrives and shatters everything. I don't want to face my failures. Seems so unfair.
A broken marriage is not necessarily equated to as a failure, is it?
It is in my case.
Perhaps it was just one of those things. Incompatibility. 2 people in the same profession, careers colliding, and then an agreement to live separately. A decision made for mutual benefit. And she was probably more to blame than you if I know anything.
And what do you know about it? You were married to the same woman for 35 years. Not everyone was like you and Melissa.
I've hated it. Hated growing old. Hated every bloody moment of it. First, it's your prostate. And peeing 3 times nightly. It's not your prostate. It's shingles. And then your teeth fall out, your hearing goes, and your eyes start watering, and it's cataracts. And then you can't remember anyone's name, and then you can't remember your own name. And the bloody doctors know bugger all. Have a bypass, try a pacemaker, what about an implant? Stop smoking, watch your cholesterol, lower your blood pressure. Nothing we can do for a cramp. Hit and miss, mostly miss. And when it comes to women, I tell you, it's adios, Speedy Gonzalez.
They've discovered a new pill for that, haven't they? A blue one, I believe.
Oh, yes. I asked Dr. Kogan for it, and she said, well, what do you want it for? And I said, what do you think I want it for? And she said, I'll give you something to calm you down. And I said, I don't need anything to calm me down. I'm already too bloody calm as it is. That's the whole point, isn't it? And she said, remind me how old you are. And to that I said, piss off!
Rage against the dying of the light.
Precisely, you're a poet, Reg, a true poet. How was that rage?
Oh, you really do have the most extraordinary gift of cheering one up.
So as you say that, your ex said something similar to me 100 years ago or so. We're rehearsing Rigoletto, that bloody quartet going through hell. You must have been there. Sissy was, I know. I remember because she was crying because Jean was being her usual difficult self. And so, I goosed Jean just for the hell of it, and she screamed, oh, Wilfred, you vulgar and crude! You have the intellect of a tease fly, but you're a giver of life, and that is a lovely thing. And I ask of you never to touch my bottom again! I love that story. I've told it countless times. Were you very unhappy? How long were you two married? It's always something I wanted to know. Why did she retire so suddenly?
After she married Michael Reese, she was at the height of her powers, and she stopped, just like that. She said she wanted to devote herself into being a mother and a wife. I don't know the real reason.
You're right, that doesn't sound like Jean. She's about as motherly as Mussolini.
She always ran away from the truth, especially if it was unpleasant. No attempt to deal with it, just simply run away.
That's a great idea. Let us, tonight, let us skip town. We'll hire a taxi, Mr. Dungworth from the village. We'll spend our Rigoletto royalties before we even know how much they are. We'll tie one on and do ourselves proud at the Palomino.
Bloody Angelique, she didn't give me marmalade again this morning.
We'll have a good dinner and then repair to the bar and get totally Brahms and Liszt. We'll come back here, sit outside Jean's room, and sing the duet from the Pearl Fishers. How does that sound?
Reginald, Wilfred, here's Jean in all her glory.
Yes, yes, I know. How the mighty have fallen.
Ah, tactless as ever, you haven't changed a bit.
Didn't I tell you? She still looks like a young girl. Jean, you'll feel terribly out of place here. We're all decrepit, and you look as you always did, youthful and glowing.
How sweet you both are. Reggie, it's me. Jean?
I know who you are.
Don't be hard on me, Reg. After all these years, I can't bear it.
He's upset because he wasn't warned that you were coming.
I'm not upset.
That's entirely my fault, Reggie. I didn't want any fuss. You know what the media are like. If they knew I ended up here, they'd gloat. That was clumsy of me.
No, just par for the course.
I'm surprised the media still have any interest in you.
Oh, that was very cruel, Reg. I hope you haven't become cruel.
Oh yes, well you'd know all about cruelty now, wouldn't you?
You were never cruel. You were kind, gentle, and unassertive.
Unassertive. That's right. Throw salt on the wound.
As a matter of fact, Miss will obviously surprise you. I continue to comfort you. The other night, I was George's guest at Covent Garden. When I entered the box, I received an ovation. So touching. Reggie, say something to me, please. We are to be friends if I'm to live here, and if not friends, at least let's be polite to each other. I must sit. I'm on a waiting list for a new hit. Reggie, dearest, don't make this any more difficult than it needs to be. I knew you were a resident here, and that my presence may cause some difficulties, but I had no alternative. Believe me, so let me say what I have to say. I apologize for leaving you. Please be kind to me. We're different people then. There, I've been rehearsing that for the past week. It feels like the first day of school or first rehearsal. One wishes so much to make a good first impression. Tell me all about things here. The director seemed frightfully charming.
We call him El Duce.
Yes, how amusing. El Duce, I see why. I must say I was dreadfully disappointed in the amount of chorus members that were pointed out to me. I don't know any of them personally, of course, but one or two I thought I'd seen before. And so many orchestral musicians. I'd hope there'd be a great many more, shall I say, virtuosi.
Frank White is here, but I don't think for much longer. He's not at all well now, poor lamb. He can hardly even breathe. I don't even think he knows where he is anymore. He keeps to his room and doesn't want any visitors. Not even me. But what a star he was, and so strong. We were friends once, and occasionally he'd even let me hold his flute. Gold and gleaming it was, he could make it sound like a choir of angels.
And could that have been Bobby Swanson lurking in the corner?
Indeed it could.
He looked right past me.
Well, his eyesight isn't what it was. They're waiting for his cataracts to ripen. Now they say cataracts don't have to ripen. It's all microsurgery. Bloody doctors.
Such an intense little man who looked as if he was spying for a foreign power.
Bobby's all right. Just disappointed, that's all. And why should he be different from the rest of us? He wanted to conduct. They wouldn't let him. I thought he was a miracle worker.
Yes, someone I knew. Enrico Cardinal, you might remember him. He swore by Bobby. I forget what they did together, but Enrico needed a lot of help in more ways than one. And I always thought that he and Bobby...
and we have our little areas in which we gravitate to. This little terrace and the music room. When I arrived, the walls were hung with nothing but still life paintings, dead birds, and artichokes. Too depressing, so I was allowed to redecorate.
Yes, I can tell. I never thought style was your strong point.
We like to think of ourselves as a rather exclusive club.
The elite. That's what we are. The elite.
And when I say you're welcome, Jean, I'm sure I speak for everybody.
You don't speak for me.
And you must obey our motto, Jean, NSP. No self-pity. And there are two questions you must never ask. How are you, and what are your plans for today? That's all you have to remember, if you can, that is.
I must say, I've had the loveliest welcome. Walking through the dining hall earlier, everyone seemed to recognize me, and there was even a light patter of hands. Like the other night at the Opera House. When I entered the box, I received an ovation. Wasn't that something?
Once in New York, I received a standing
And
ovation.
isn't the garden here a joy? I do love the negalias and the digitalis and the roses.
You should have seen it last month. Polyanthus and forget-me-nots, though. I don't expect you get that much in India.
Thank heavens for this breeze. I feel the heat, and yet there's nothing to me. It must be ghastly for you, sissy, carrying around all that extra weight. And I used to love lying in the sun for hours and hours on end.
Beyond the Copper Beach, there's a bluebell wood where we're allowed to walk, but not unaccompanied. You have to get a bleeper from matrons. The bluebells were quite glorious this year, but they're finished now.
Like us.
Oh, you mustn't say that, Jean. We're all so terribly fortunate to be here, all in one piece. Well, nearly. Not that one doesn't get depressed from time to time with all the secrecy and the whispering and the people being sent away if they're too ill or go cuckoo. Of course one does. But it never lasts for long. How could it when there's so much to cheer one up? People coming, going, new faces, old friends, fitness classes, OT, that's occupational therapy, and all sorts of lectures. Such fun. And for someone like me, who never got married or never had kids and whose nearest and dearest are long departed, this place is a godsend, a blessing, like a fairground ablaze with fairy lights. And the people here are so interesting, so surprising. One man, a dramatic tenor, whose name's gone, sang Otello somewhere or other with a Desdemona from you'll never guess where. Ghana. Isn't that fascinating? Though, what it did to the plot he never really explained.
And there's a rather brutal-looking gardener, isn't there, sissy? Answers to Carlos work stripped to the waist, muscles rippling, awash in sweat.
I love the smell of male sweat.
So we've heard.
I could watch him work for hours.
Careful there, sissy. You'll blow the fuse on your pacemaker.
Frank White smells of honey.
I'm surprised you're here, Jean. Last I heard, you were living it up at Eaton Square.
And did they show you the pool? They keep it at almost 80 degrees. I swim every week.
And I watch her. It's the only exercise I take.
Reggie, I was truly looking forward to seeing you again. We don't have to talk about the past. What was, was. Let's just be friends now and forever. I do trust our fellow residents don't go on and on about their past successes or failures, as case may be. I do find that quite tiresome, don't you? Alas, that's a symptom of old age, I fear. That and repeating oneself. My late husband did it all the time.
Which late husband?
Nigel Harris.
Was he your fourth or your fifth?
What's the food here like?
Perfect if you fancy grey roast, lamb, and lumpy pudding, sometimes served together. It's like shepherd's pie. From hell.
Who was Nigel Harris?
How long have you all been here?
Just under a year, me.
9 months.
And Reggie's the new boy. You've served what? 6 months of your sentence, haven't you?
Oh, and I was sorry to hear about your wife, Belinda. What's her name, Belinda?
Her name was Melissa, and she was very loving, tolerant, and understanding. They were married for 35 years.
Cut it out! Will you, Reg? Cut it out. There's a good chap.
And what's all this about the 10th of October? The director said he was sure the committee... Did he say the committee? Well, he was sure they expect me to do some sort of concert, I gathered. What's so important about the 10th of October? He didn't explain.
Birthday gala?
Whose birthday?
Joe Green's.
I don't think I know who he is.
No. Let me explain. The gala committee. I'm a member. Cedric Loadingstone runs it. I was co-opted the week I arrived. I think that they wanted someone lively. Reggie really ought to be the chair, and we all wanted him elected, but Cedric clings to office. It really is such fun. We have apologies, and we read the minutes, and there's any other business. We all feel so important. And yes, there's a gala on Verde's birthday every year. Joe Green. Giuseppe Verde. Do you see the joke, Jean? Because Verde is Italian. It means green.
Sissy, once again, jokes aren't funny if you have to explain them.
Yes, of course.
His birthday's on the 10th of October, and we celebrated. We have a little dose for Tommy Beecham's birthday, or his death. I'm never sure which. And Ben Britten and even Mozart get a look in. We all have something to look forward to, you see, and we're all expected to do something. Everyone wants Reggie to sing La Donna al Mobile, don't they, Reginald?
I fell in love with Reggie the first time I heard him sing that.
We're to have a star turn this year. Anne Langley will be performing her Violetta.
Anne Langley, here. I thought they committed her.
They will after they hear her Violetta.
Is she still so lumpy.
We were built differently back then.
Well, I wasn't, and I always thought Anne laying his upper register sounded like a mouse giving birth to an elephant. Reggie, will you take a walk with me and show me the garden?
Leave me in peace, Jean. For Christ's sake, leave me in peace. I'm sorry. I apologize. That was uncalled for. I always thought that the definition of a gentleman was someone who was never unintentionally rude. That remark just slipped out. It was unworthy.
I've had such a hard time. I'm here on charity.
So am I. So is Sissy. So are most of the inmates, in fact. There's no shame in charity as long as you are undeserving.
I'm not on charity. I pay my own way.
Now then, Reggie, NSP, no self-pity.
The same cologne for 7-Eleven. I didn't know you could still buy it. God, that takes me back. Takes me back to you, Reg. Smells so to me what Madeline's for the Prouse.
Madeline who?
Smells and music, of course.
Sissy, I think I just saw Carlos headed for the herb garden. He was taking off his shirt.
Where? Where? I don't see him.
He disappeared behind the copper beech.
Carlos! Carlos, I'm coming, baby!
I'll just see if this month's copy of my bikini magazine has arrived.
I can't ever remember you crying.
My mother taught me never to show others when I was hurt. Reggie, we have to come to some sort of arrangement.
Your mother knew all about hiding her feelings. It was easy for her. She didn't have any. When I first met her, I thought she never smiled because she had bad teeth. But I was wrong. They revealed themselves when she ate. They were gleaming fangs. She never smiled because nothing ever amused her. Not even you leaving me. She must be dead now, surely.
13 years, and don't be unkind about her, please.
I like your father, though. When he heard that you'd left me, he telephoned me and said, "Sorry, old chap, but count your blessings. I'm with her mother." He's gone too, I suppose.
Yes, a year before Mom. They're both so proud of me. Not a day goes by where I don't miss them. I liked your parents, but they never approved of me.
No.
Mom also ended up in a home. In Hove. Such a mournful sound, Hove. And I vowed to end the same way, and yet, here I am. Reggie, we're both going to live here, so what are you going to do?
Press the cliche button and say, make the best of it. What else are we going to do?
I apologize for leaving you. Please be kind to me. We're different people then. There, I've been nursing that the past week.
Yes, you said it before.
Did I? I'm repeating myself. Do stop me if I do it again. I mean it nevertheless.
Mean what?
That I'm truly, truly sorry for hurting you so much. I suffered terrible remorse, you know. I was young and impetuous and so shocked. What I did was unforgivable.
Stop it, Jean. Stop it. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to think about it. And I don't want to remember. When Sissy announced that you'd arrived here, I must admit, I reacted rather too sharply. And even more sharply when I first saw you. Depth of my feelings took me by surprise. But I'm over it now. I'm too old to relive ancient history. Can't be bothered by things. It's too tiring and bloody pointless. You're here. I'm here. Trapped. That's all there is to it.
I knew our marriage was going to be a failure the moment my father led me down the aisle.
Did you?
Yes, when I saw the priest. His cheeks were sunken and he had dark circles under his eyes. It was a bad omen. He had the haunted look of Pennywise the clown. Poor Reggie.
Poor Reggie! Don't you ever say that again either.
And now we're old.
Yes. Now we are old.
What do you do to pass your time here?
I read. I listen to music. I enjoy the company of my friends. I don't want to become institutionalized, so I try not to watch television. I'm writing my autobiography. And if I wanted to tire myself, I'll think about art. And if I wanted to exhaust myself, I'll think about life. But art is my chief preoccupation, Jean. Its meaning, its significance, its ability to educate and enthrall, to inspire and civilize. Cow! See her! See her! There she goes! Angelique, the wardress dressed in white! See her! By the box hedge! Holds herself a nurse! Buffoon! Cow! Idiot! She doesn't give me marmalade in the morning, but she gives everyone else marmalade. No, she gives me apricot jam, and I hate apricot jam. She does it deliberately. You big fat cow! Art is the medicine of mankind, Jean. But what does it spring? Ernest is right. It is not poetical. I've come to the conclusion that the fountainhead of art is life itself. Life in all its beauty, diversity, ugliness. Oh, it's too pompous, pretentious, and affected. Oh, it's so hard to define.
Do you listen to your old recordings?
No, not if you're on them.
I listen to myself a lot.
Yes, I'd have guessed that.
They reached the Rigoletto.
Yes, they want me to sing La Donna Mobile at Bertie's birthday gala.
Yes, Sissy said.
La Donna Mobile, qua pluma al vento. Women are as fickle as a feather in the wind, and the image I shall carry is of you as children. It will be a great success.
Did you hear me when I say I fell in love with you the first time I heard you sing that?
I took 12 curtain calls.
You took 9. I took 12. Quite like the other night at the Opera House when I entered the box.
You're repeating yourself.
Am I?
Yes. But what does it matter? Opera performers do it all the time. We repeat ourselves all the time. All the time.
My problem was I never thought about the future. I lived from each day to the next without a care. I sang, I traveled, I spent my money and my husband's money when I married Nigel Harris.
What did he do?
Magazines. Oh, what a great lover of opera. He was at all the parties. It's a banal little story, truly. I have always been hopeless with money, and I was told Nigel was very rich. He courted me, and I encouraged him, shamelessly. We married, he had a flat at Union Square. He was a delightful companion. Then, one night before Christmas, we were dressing to go out for supper when he complained of indigestion. I went into the bathroom to fetch medicine, and when I returned, he was lying on the floor, dead. His lawyer came and spoke to me. The flat was rented. Nigel wasn't as rich as I'd been led to believe. I didn't want to come here, believe me, but I had no alternative.
What about your children? Didn't you and Michael Reese have children?
Yes, Christopher and Emma. They're darlings. You'll meet them. They promised to come visit.
Can't they help?
Not really. Christopher's a priest.
A priest? Really?
Yes, he plays guitar, C of E, in God's Rush. He got the call when I ran off with Enrico. Do you remember Enrico?
Yes, a bass.
Bass by voice and bass by nature. I'm such a bad picker of men.
Thank you.
I was married to school teachers, so they're as poor as church mice, and each of them have children of their own. I have 6 grandchildren.
And here you are.
Yes, on charity. Me on charity. I have nothing, Reggie, nothing. I have my clothes, a few jewels, and a hip that gives me hell. Why do we have to get old? What about you? Did you ever remarry?
No,
Oh? Why not?
because I was holding a candle
What do you mean?
when travelers would leave their house. Early in the morning, during dark time, before light bulbs and flashlights, their loved ones would see them off by candlelight. And so they'd leave, and whoever was left behind would leave a light burning. So they would find their way back home. But if it got too late, the loved ones would stand outside with the candlelight to make sure it didn't go out, and whoever they were waiting for could always find their way back when they wanted to.
Reggie,
There you are! I've been looking for you guys everywhere. I have something very exciting
she's just the same, only more so.
She said something I thought quite odd to me about India.
Yes, she did say that. She's begun to think everyone's come back from somewhere. We have to keep a watchful eye. We don't want her sent away. They do that, you know, if you become terminally wayward.
Ah, there you are. Sissy was looking for you. I said you'd be here.
She told us she was looking for you.
Really? She's in a state of great excitement. I bet you Carlos exposed himself to her. If not, I bet you she's booked her ticket to India. Have you and Jean made peace?
Not peace exactly. A truce, perhaps. Negotiations are continuing.
Remind me, how long were you two married?
There you are. I thought you all must be avoiding me. I had something very important to tell you. Damn it, and what was it? Some proposal.
Carlos asked you to marry him.
No, no, no. I was looking for Carlos, and then someone else came to talk to me. Someone wearing chiffon.
Wearing chiffon? It must have been Cedric.
Yes, Cedric. But what did he say?
Buzz off, Sissy. Carlos is mine.
No, I couldn't find Carlos.
You remember Cedric Livingstone, don't you, Jean? Not as manly as you, but twice as ladylike.
Vaguely.
Countertenor, or more in his case, castrato. He's chairman of the gala committee and really runs the place. In prison, he'd be a drug baron. Here, he's a drag baron.
Oh, the old ones are the best, eh, Wolf?
What are you doing these for? You can't tell him the old jokes.
Don't call me an inmate.
That's it, the committee. Cedric's chairman. Well, I mustn't say chairman. He gets frightfully cross with me when I call him the chairman.
That's because he's never come out. He told me he didn't want his parents to know about his sexuality. I said, surely they must be dead by now. He said, they are, but nevertheless.
He's a spiritualist. He believes the dead don't die, but simply just go into the next room.
Well, you can tell Cedric that I've looked in the next room and there's no one ever sitting there.
Now, what did he say? Very exciting. He wants us to sing the Quartet from Rigoletto on the 10th of October at Verde's birthday gala.
What a damn fool idea.
But it's a great honor, Jean.
A great honor. The four of us, an average age 198, singing the quartet from Rigoletto. It's not an honor, sissy. It's insanity.
But we have to do something for the gala.
Why?
Because we do. That's why. Everyone does. And our Rigoletto is very good. I was listening to it this morning. That's why they reissued us.
I wish they would.
So, what am I to tell Cedric?
That he should only wear chiffon at night.
No, about the gala.
Oh!
She's on a knife edge. I'd say she's close to a breakdown.
Jean, close to a breakdown? Stop pulling my leg.
I like to pull both of them, Sissy, but if you're only offering one, I'll settle for that.
I think that the quartet is a rather good idea.
Not for three, isn't it?
Well, we could try and persuade her. On the committee, we're always trying to persuade each other.
Do what exactly?
I don't think I'll ever say this again, but I actually feel sorry for Jean, and I resent it.
Forgive and forget, Reg.
I may forgive, but I can't forget. Though God knows I try.
This is not a retirement home, this is a madhouse.
Welcome back from India, Jean.
I could have gone alone.
I just was surrounded by toothless crows, all saying how excited they are thought to see me as Gilda, and then some creature, I'm guessing is Cedric Livingstone because he was wearing what appeared to be a sari, said, "The quartet will be the finale."
The finale, that's the star spot.
And Langley will be put out.
To brass one hopes, but I want understood here and now that I find this notion utterly ridiculous. And Sissy, make that known to Cedric Livingstone and Langley, Bobby Swanson, and all other residents of this asylum, and do so immediately. God, why did I come here?
Jean, don't go. Don't be hasty. Let's discuss it. That's all I ask. If we can keep the gala into the hottest ticket in town, this house will collapse about our ears. I don't know if you're aware, but Beecham Retirement House has been facing, what's that green paper called? Money problems. And quite frankly, I don't think we will be able to stay here by this time next year. That is, if we don't raise enough money from the gala to keep the place open.
I'm ready.
Please pay attention.
I'm not going to do it, so there's no point in going on.
But it'll be fun, Jean. I promise.
It won't be fun. Nothing's fun anymore. Everything's poisoned!
Do we, in principle, accept the committee's invitation?
The committee? The committee. Most of them are probably in the course when I made my debut as Rigoletto and were there for my final performance.
Not Anne Langley. She was a very
Oh,
fine
don't
beautiful
have
person.
such rubbish. Violetta's supposed to be dying of tuberculosis. Anne Langley looked as if she was singing false stop.
We were built differently in those days.
I'm not interested in those days!
If we are to sing, we will need a pianist, of course.
Bobby Swanson, he'd be an enormous help. He's still a pretty good pianist. I'm sure he could manage it.
I think it would be a great occasion. The first time the four of us sing together in goodness knows how long.
No, I will not do it. We'd sound like four cats mating.
I'm going to put this into a vote. I am tired of this nonsense. What's the general feeling? Do we sing the quartet from Rigoletto at Giuseppe Verdi's birthday gala, or do we not?
Yes!
Oh, 2-1. We do it.
I'm not bound by your stupid rules.
They are not my rules, Jim. It's the way democracy works. The majority...
You've taken leave of your senses. We are not a political party. We are four individuals. I do not want to do it, and I will not do it, and that's that. Democracy has nothing to do with art.
That's actually true.
But it's a great honor, Jean. I could never in my wildest dreams imagine that I would be singing the Quartet from Rigoletto on the 10th of October at Verdi's birthday gala.
And it's your arrival here, Jean, that's made it all possible.
Yes, let's start rehearsing now, immediately, today.
No, I will not sing Gilda or anything else. Please listen to what I have to say.
We're listening.
No, I can't. It's too hard to explain.
Try. We have all the time in the world.
I'm in a state of shock. This is my first day here. Don't interrupt. I'm talking. Now, I think we can all admit that my voice was very much admired. I have a memory of that voice. I remember what it was like to hear myself soaring effortlessly. Yes, effortlessly, as though the gift I'd been given.
Lunch!
Sorry, dear. Lunch, Jean. Hurry, otherwise all the mashed potatoes will be gone. Oh, I'm back.
Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Oh, you naughty Nancy, you! Whoops. Thank you, Isaac. You sound. Oh, Jim, you're coming too. Come on, get in there. Oh, thanks, Jim. These guys sound wonderful. Good morning, Dr. Kogan. It sounded like Sissy.
I wasn't concentrating. What sounded like Sissy?
Whoever screamed contralto. I watched her swim this morning. She seemed quite robust. If that was Sissy's voice, it'll need a lot of work. Found a thought for a trio.
Oh, yes.
Yes, the trio from the barber. After the storm scene with the ladder, Sissy knows Rosina, you must know Alma Viva, and I've done the Figaro countless times.
I'm sure Jean will relent.
Reggie, where have you been? She said no, and when Jean says no, she means no, doesn't she? You're married to her, for God's sakes. You should know her better than anyone. She took to her room late last night and hasn't been seen since. So, you saying she'll be Gilda is like me giving matron one before sunset. Not bloody likely, old son. Not bloody likely.
She's a star. And stars always find it very difficult, not to say impossible, to deal with that which is unpleasant. I have been preparing an argument which I believe may confront her present reality. I believe I can change her mind. Sissy.
It's so hard always trying to see the good in people.
What happened?
She threw something at me.
Who did?
Jean, of course. Dr. Kogan gave me a pill to calm me down.
Dr. Kogan would.
Tell us all about it. Andante espressive.
Well, after she took to her room yesterday, or was it the day before that?
Yesterday, I think, wasn't it?
It doesn't matter. Go on, Sissy.
Well, yesterday after tea, I went up to her room and knocked on her door. There was no answer, but I could hear her crying.
Crying again. She really is in a bad way.
I tried the door, but it was locked. I'm gonna sit down. I'm feeling really dizzy.
Why did you scream?
Because just a few moments ago, I thought I'd try again.
Try what again?
To see Jean. I don't like her being upset. I don't like anyone being upset. And yesterday at dinner, Anne Langley reported something rather odd.
That she lost weight.
No. Yesterday, Anne happened to be in the kitchen.
I wonder why.
She was peeling something or other when, out of the window, she saw Jean get into a taxi with Mr. What's his name, from the village.
Dunworth smells of mothballs.
Yes, Mr. Dunworth. And not 20 minutes later, Anne saw Jean return, but this time with a gift-wrapped package. So I thought to myself, she's obviously feeling better, so I'll go see her in the morning. So just a few moments ago, ago, I went up to her room, knocked on her door. There was no answer again, but it wasn't locked. So I peeked my head in. Jean, it's me, Sissy. And she just stared at me, coldly. And then something came flying at me. It was a saucer, I think. It shattered. Dr. Cogan happened to be upstairs, and she gave me a pill to calm me down. I think it's working. I hope Jean's wrong. She said everything's poisoned. I don't want everything to be poisoned. It's not as if we have all that much time left.
I wonder what upset her so much.
Well, first of all, it's not very pleasant to have something thrown at you.
No, not Sissy. I know it's upset Sissy. I mean Jean. It couldn't have just been us suggesting the quartet.
She's asleep.
Yes.
It's the pill.
Isn't she lovely asleep? Look, there's a little smile. God, I'd love to wake up to that smile in the morning. Oh God!
What?
I hope it wasn't shoplifting.
I'm not following you.
The package, I hope Jean didn't pinch it.
I know she's broke, but I don't think she's that desperate.
No, nothing to do with money.
What then?
We all know it begins with shoplifting.
I don't.
Oh, right. The Laura Armstrong affair happened just before you arrived.
Who is this Laura Armstrong?
Cellist, thighs like a rugby player, always had a mad urge to tackle her. And I was in the drive when the police car arrived. Laura was in the back because she'd been caught leaking black undies in a leather belt. And when I tell you, when I saw that, I thought to myself, well, hello, hello. And it wasn't too much long later after that she was carted off.
To prison, do you mean?
No, not to prison, to India.
India? What are you talking about?
She lost her mind!
Oh, God. And this all started with shoplifting, did it? And you think Jean's headed the same way?
It's just a thought.
I've come to apologize to Sissy.
She's asleep.
I've also come to apologize to you and Wilfred for my behavior yesterday.
I don't remember you throwing anything at us.
Don't make fun of me. And Reggie, I brought you a present.
Lime marmalade? Jean, it's lime marmalade! Just what I wanted!
I also need to explain something.
You've changed your mind about birthday gala. See? Told you so.
But I feel like I must explain why I'm so opposed to it. Not for you, of course. You must do what you think's right. But for myself. I've had some time to think about it.
It really is such a shame. Cedric said we could use the old Carl Rosa costumes. He told me who left them for us, but I can't remember now. I do hope Jean would change her mind, though.
Well, I won't.
Jean, was it terribly awful in India?
Oh, God.
And it's lime marmalade. My favorite. You remember. You've touched me deeply. Such an original present.
Sissy, I'm sorry for losing my temper. Cried more in the past 2 days than I have my entire life.
Well, you can stop now. We'll do the trio from the barber.
Try to see things from my perspective. God, I hope you can remember everything I wanted to say. I was
We were all somebody once.
I thought I was somebody now.
But I shone brightest in the spotlight.
Yeah, you were a great star. We know that.
I was. And don't disparage me. It isn't easy to be mean.
Was it ever? That's a mistake. I'm sorry. Please don't go. I apologize. I will not be obnoxious again. Please listen. It is my turn now to make something clear to you. I too have been thinking a lot about it. You came here, and I believe I quote you accurately, because you had no alternative. It's not a madhouse, Jean. No more than anywhere else. We are just a community of people with same professions and similar experiences. And some of us happen to be highly individual, often eccentric.
Eccentric? Us? Where do you come up with these things?
And some of us without exception, are old. I believe that whatever community you find yourself in, it's best to live by its traditions and customs.
Reggie's right. Buckle up. Your only other choice is to be guest of honor at the crematorium.
I love it here. I have no complaints apart from the whispering. I think we're awfully lucky. I really do.
Well, I don't. I hope my last few years would be quite different.
And they're not. Best to accept it.
And best to accept that one of the traditions of this place is to celebrate the birth, the one and only Giuseppe Verdi, on the 10th of October. And we do so by getting up a little concert in which we all take part.
It's disgusting and obscene.
Don't be so aggressive, Jean! You haven't changed. You never think. You never take a breath.
Why should I change?
Because you'd be much happier if you did. Sissy, I expect you're missing sunnier climes.
It's my opinion that performing once again to an audience of our fellow residents, members of our staff, the odd visitor, is a way of reaffirming our existence.
Nonsense.
It's not nonsense. We, all of us living in this house, were born with a musical gift. And some of us, we have the ability to sing. And now, many years on, old age has thrown us together in which our voices are nothing but fond memories, like us. But what is the harm in trying to recapture what we were once, however inadequately, on the birthday of one of the greatest composers for the human voice who has ever lived? The answer is, there is no harm. Not to us, not to the late Giuseppe Verdi. I believe we will find it invigorating, not to say electrifying, to wear a costume again, to lose a sense of ourselves, to be nervous, to step into the warmth of the lights, to remember what we were once capable of. I believe it will be therapeutic and worthwhile. And the sound that we carry in our heads, however imperfect in reality, will be to us the same sound which we made all those bloody years ago. I just know it to be true, Jean. And it will help us, and you especially, to come to terms with our present reality, and more importantly, to face the future.
What future?
And something else that will keep us occupied. You'll be grateful for that. It'll help time pass because time here, I assure you, not so much passes slowly, but hobbles by on its own crutches.
What you refuse to understand is that I'm a different person today.
No, you're not. Nor are we. We've aged, that's all, and it happened so fast that we didn't have time to change. In spirit, I'm the same lovely lad that I always was, just trapped in a cage made of rusty iron bars.
I'm not! I'm a different person than I was, but I revere the memory of who I was.
You'll find that bloody tired and completely pointless, so I will stop it if I were you.
Well, you're not me. When I talk about somebody that I once was, I talk about somebody whose body and voice and mind I happen to inhabit. That person shone brightest in the spotlight.
Jean, you're repeating yourself.
Oh, shut up, Reggie! With the passage of time, her light grew dim and is now extinguished.
Who are we talking about now?
We're talking about me.
Jean Horton, that was.
Yes, Jean Horton, that was. I revere her memory and will do nothing to tarnish what she achieved. It's the very thought that I should even attempt to now. It's unthinkable.
Let go, Jean. Let go. There's no holding on to these things. Face reality for once in your life. We're alive. Not for very much longer. So, let's make the most of it. Make the most of these days, these hours, this moment especially. To hell with the Jean Horton that was. Live. For God's sake, live. We're alive, and let's celebrate that. We're artists, are we not? And our job is to celebrate life. What else were we going to do those years? What else did we do those years? It's an obligation. Sing with us. Angelique! Yes, sing with us. I promise you will be eternally free. Yes, eternally.
When's the last time any of you sung? Never mind the voice you carry in your ears. When's the last time someone heard you sing? Have you any conception of the sound you now make? Do you really want to be a laughing stock?
Is she right? Do you think, Reggie? Is it all madness? Is everything poisoned? What if we do get up there and we sound like lawnmowers that won't start? I don't want them to whisper, and I don't want them to tell secrets. I hate it. I hate it.
You do realize I haven't sang a note in more than 30 years.
Why did you retire so early?
I had no choice.
I thought that's exactly what you had. I thought you chose to be a wife and a mother.
I had my first child late. I was, how old was I? Over 30. A week after Christopher was born, I was offered Mimi at the Met. I accepted. I hadn't performed in almost a year, and although I knew the role, of course, I thought it best to do some work on it. So I asked Mona Ross to come in and put me through my paces. Mona, such a wonderful voice in her time and a lovely teacher after. She bursts in, full of good cheer as usual, sits down in my Steinway, plays an arpeggio or two, and then strikes a chord. I draw breath. I tried to sing, but I couldn't. She struck the chord again. I always remember she had beautifully manicured nails because I couldn't keep my eyes off of her finger, and I kept hammering out the note again and again and again. Although I tried as hard as I could, I wasn't able to produce any sort of sound except for a choking silence. I've never been more terrified in my life. Doctors were summoned. I saw Norman Hunt. He couldn't find anything wrong with my chords. I just simply couldn't sing. I even saw a psychiatrist, Professor Britton. He said it probably had something to do with postnatal depression and that given a month or two, all would be well. But it wasn't. Not in a month or two, not in a year or two, not after Emma was born, never again. So there's no point in trying to persuade me for the birthday gala. Because even if I wanted to sing, I can't. I can't sing. I haven't sung in years and years, and that's all there is to it. My gift deserted me.
I remember Mona Ross. I always thought Mona, such an unfortunate name for a singer.
I often wondered what the real reason was.
Now you know.
Now I know.
What a damned thing, Jean. What a damned awful thing. Bloody doctors.
I'm told it's not uncommon. It happens to actors, I believe, only they call it stage fright. Anyway, what's it matter? I had a good run for my money. I feel better now. How extraordinary.
I suppose we wouldn't let Bobby Swanson having a go at you, wouldn't you? We could all consult him. How does that sound? There's nothing for Reginald, son. We'll have to do the trio from the barber. I'll have to crank up the old voice, and God, I'm sick of Figaro.
Believe me, if it isn't remotely possible, I'd sing for the birthdays of Giuseppe Verdi, Tommy Beecham, Ben Britton, and Wolfgang Amadeus Mozart. I would love nothing more to be able to sing now as I did then. To hear my voice.
Are we all thinking the same thing?
Are we?
Would we get away with it? With lip syncing?
I would. It's the only way I could.
Then that's what we'll do then.
I'm ready.
should be able to get a good view of the bird baths and feeders from right over here. When you see a bird you recognize, say it out loud to yourself and take note of it. And when you see a bird you don't recognize, look it up.
Okay, thank you so much. I'll get right to it.
Okay, let's see.
Oh, ooh, that one. That is a black-bellied pullover. Ooh, that one's pretty. I like that one. Now, what else is there? Ooh, that one is a yellow-throated warbler. Ooh, nice one, that one. Ooh, I know that one. That's a black-capped chickadee. Chickadee. Oh, this is so much fun. I feel more focused already. Oh, I know that one. That's a barrel-chested Carlos. Now that one I can focus on.
Good morning, Reggie.
Good morning.
No key yet, I see.
No, unfortunately.
Costumes are wearable.
No. What did I do with it?
Tell you what, Sissy, let me frisk you. I'm sure I'll find it.
What could I have done with it? Not 2 minutes ago, he put it in my hand.
Put what into your hand?
It was attached to a pearl necklace.
Really?
Perhaps it's round your neck?
Oh, here it is! How clever of you, Reggie.
Damn, I should have frisked you.
And you haven't told anyone what we're up to.
Oh, of course not. I know how to keep a secret. I know plenty of things that I've never told a human soul, especially about myself.
You intrigue me, sissy.
Bobby Swanson came up to me like a wasp, anxious to sting. He poked me with that little white stick of his. It's really a conductor's baton, and he asked me all sorts of things.
Such as?
He wanted to know who was rehearsing us, and I said, nobody. And he laughed in a scornful sort of way, and then he said, fine then, who's going to be your accompanist? And I said, Reggie. And he laughed again, and then said, really, well, he's singing with that one finger. And then I said, I don't know why I said this, but I said, if you must know, we're importing a pianist. And he said, from where? And I said, New Delhi.
New Delhi? What did he say to that?
He said, I can't wait to see the quartet from Rigoletto accompanied on a sitar.
Got it!
Oh! God, it smells of Mr. Dunworth!
Isn't this so much fun? It's like opening an old trunk and getting dressed up on a winter's afternoon.
I wonder who designed this.
Not Hugo Boss, that's for certain.
They're very faded.
Well, I think they're lovely.
They're not lovely, they're deeply unattractive.
Can you find my vest? You said they had a vest. Where is it?
I refuse to perform wearing them. We'll have to do it in modern dress.
Oh no, Jean, that would be awful.
I agree with Sissy.
I will not perform wearing rags. You'll have to find someone who can make me something. Sissy, what about you? You always look as if you made your own clothing. Run me up a costume, will you? Thank you, dear. These are unwearable.
Oh, good Lord. Look. These tights. They have a label on them. Look. Enrico Cardinal, 1952.
Enrico never performed a Carl Rosa.
Well, his tights are here.
Perhaps he left them while he was visiting. We all know what he was like.
How odd. Enrico's tights.
He had such lovely legs, I remember, and they were always so manly.
That's because we were a codpiece. Most of us use socks. I was a 3-sock man myself.
I didn't know you knew Enrico.
Oh yes, Glendaborn.
Ah, that must have been after we...
Oh, in a rather funny way, Enrico was such a handsome man.
I never understood what women found attractive in him. He was thick as 2 planks. He couldn't read a note of music. Bobby Swanson worked with him, and it took him 7 months to learn God Save the Queen.
Enrico was ugly handsome. Many women find that irresistible. I know I did. It's like that French actor.
Which French actor?
Oh, you know. God, what's his name?
Give us a clue.
Had a woman's name.
A French actor with a woman's name.
Reggie, you might remember. I had a thing about him. He was in that film.
Which film?
You know, the one about the war?
Vietnam?
No, I don't think so.
What is this, a bloody quiz show? Who does it matter who Enrico looked like anyway?
Well, I think I found your sock.
Oh, thank you.
What about this, Jean? I could alter it for you.
It's certainly my color.
Well, Fred, I think I found the vest.
What the hell am I going to wear with this?
This is lovely. This will do me. I'll have to take it out of the waist of it, though.
Yes, that's much nicer, much better quality. Perhaps I ought to have that.
Oh, it's yours if you want it, Jean. I don't mind what I wear. You choose.
I'll have it then. It's for the best.
I say, shoes.
I'll wear my own, thank you. I can't bear the thought of wearing someone else's shoes, and everything will have to be dry cleaned.
But that will cost a fortune.
I can't help it. I will not perform wearing these costumes unless they're dry cleaned.
The committee has fun.
Has it?
Lawrence Timms left a small bequest.
Cheeky bugger.
No one told us.
Well, he did. I could put forward a motion at the next meeting that some of the money be used to dry clean these costumes.
Excellent, Sissy. Excellent.
You're not just a beautiful body.
Ah, how exciting. I've been longing to put forward a motion.
Ladies and gentlemen, come on, please, gather round, gather round. We have many things to discuss. The rehearsal schedule, the method of work, and when to have the orchestra rehearse with us.
Don't be ridiculous, Reggie. We don't have an orchestra, so how are we supposed to do that?
This is so much fun. Isn't this fun? This is so much fun.
We have to aim for perfection, Nothing less. We have a great deal of work before us.
What work? We all know the opera. We all know the quartet.
My dear Wolf, none of us have performed for more years than we can decently remember. If we are to do this properly, we will have to burrow our way back into opera.
Go easy on me. I'm not as nimble as I once was.
First, Sissy will talk to the committee about dry cleaning. After that, I suggest we each take responsibilities of our own costumes. That includes you, Wolf. Second, we go on, just as we are, relearning the parts in our own time. By the last week of August, we will have 2 rehearsals per week. By mid-September, every morning. Is that clear?
Every morning? That's overdoing it a bit, isn't it?
We will need it. Believe me, what we are attempting to do is not easy. Now, please pay attention, because what I have to say is important. Now, Giuseppe Verdi, he based his opera on the play by Victor Hugo.
Jean Gabin!
No, Victor Hugo!
No, Jean Gabin! The actor's name I was trying to remember. The French actor.
Oh, Jean Gabin. Handsome, ugly Jean. Jean, a woman's name. Same as yours.
Same as mine, so it is. Why didn't I remember that? God, one's mind is completely mystifying.
But what about the name of the film?
What film?
I'm going to expose myself in a moment.
About war.
Oh, no, what was it called? I can see it now. Jean Gabin in...
Give us a clue.
What the hell with this? Let's forget all about it. I am not going to go through with this.
We're listening, Reggie. We're listening, aren't we?
As you may remember,
What about makeup?
I beg your pardon,
Who's going to do our makeup?
you'll have to do it on your own. Now shut up.
Do not speak to me like that. I've never done my own makeup, and I don't intend to start now.
Then don't wear any.
What? Appear without makeup?
Jean, I'll do your makeup for you.
God, it's gonna be amateur night.
Not entirely sure what that means.
I'll do your makeup for you, Jean. I'm doing Anne Langley's at the same time.
You'll need a lot of makeup for that face.
You're a monster, Jean. There is Cicely Ross, not unknown at her time, accommodating you at every twist and turn of your life and your monstrous ego. And all you can do is insult her. Can't you ever be gracious just for once in your life?
No, I cannot. Don't do that!
What did I do?
You know very well what you did. It's disgusting and obscene!
Rubbish! All I did was pinch your bum.
Precisely how would you feel if someone pinched your bum?
I'd love it. I'd never have my bum pinched. What about you, Reg? Go on. Pinch my bum. Pinch it.
Revolt. You always do. But you make me laugh. I don't know why. Yes, I do. You're a giver of life, and that is a lovely thing. Thank you, Sissy. I would love for you to make me up.
I can do your makeup, Reggie, and I'll do you too, Will.
I love that, Sissy. You can do my makeup if you want.
See? Disgusting.
Please, pay attention! Pay attention! As you may remember, but I believe it is worth repeating, Rigoletto by Giuseppe Verdi with a libretto by Maria Piave was based on the play La Croix de Muse by Victor Hugo. Now, let me remind you what Victor Hugo said after seeing Rigoletto. And remember, he resented its success. He said, and I quote, "If I could have 4 characters in my place speak at the same time and have the audience grasp the words and sentiments, I would obtain the very same effect." Now, as to a performance, actually, cow takes no notice of me.
changing.
How exciting. The gala has begun, and the boys and girls are singing lustfully and are looking lovely. But Bobby Swanson is taking it rather slowly, and he's getting slower and slower. I thought the tenors were going to explode.
You've kept me waiting. Do makeup.
Right away, Jean. And after I'm done, Jean, it'll be your turn, Reggie.
But don't worry about that. Bobby Swanson very kindly lent me some of his foundation and rouge.
That was kind of him. See, people can be kind.
Yeah, but he thought he could bribe me into telling him what we were up to. But I give nothing away.
Matron says there'll be a 5-minute break between items.
Why?
Bladders. I'm not nervous, are you?
Of course I'm nervous. Every great artist gets nervous before a performance. It's the respect we pay our audience.
It's so odd not having to do a warm-up.
Reggie, when you have a moment, can you help me tie this contraption?
Yes, just a minute.
I'll do my eyes myself. I always did.
Want to drink, old son?
No, thank you.
Cheers to us.
Cheers.
Cheers to us, girls!
God bless.
You're not drinking before a performance, are you?
I am before this one. In fact, I always had one bottle of stout before, one during the interval, and one after. Gives body to the voice.
I even give body to his voice tonight of all nights. God only knows.
Jean, would you be so kind as to sit closer to the window? I need all the light I can get.
Of course, my hip is deciding to be particularly troublesome today.
That's nerves for you. That's what Dr. Kogan calls psychosomatic.
Well, she can call it what she wants. I don't wish this pain on anyone.
There, I'll let Sissy do the finishing touches.
Oh yes, your bow tie. I'll help you with it now.
Ah, perfect. I don't think I tied it properly. It's not entirely secure.
I suppose Melissa always did it for you. Damn.
I knew I had done it properly.
Don't worry. I have an idea.
What's your idea? I dropped the cap. Pick it up, please, sir. Thank you.
Oh. Let's try this. Ooh, look! This one fits right on. You see, you didn't have to do this, you know. You had Melissa.
Don't go on about Melissa.
Oh, she must have been very long-suffering, putting up with you.
And why do you say that?
Oh, come on, everyone knows what you're like. All that sleeping around, like the Duke and Rigoletto.
I did not sleep around. I was absolutely faithful to Melissa for 35 years.
I find that very hard to believe. And I must say, people said very bad things about you. Because you were, what's the word? Being unfaithful to Melissa.
There, all done. You can do your outside now.
Let me see what you've done. Not bad. Not bad at all, Sissy.
Thank you. I'm going to get ready now.
It never occurred to me
What? Never occurred to you?
that people thought I was unfaithful to Melissa.
Of course they did. Just think of the way you go on, Wilf.
That hurts me. That really does. Me, unfaithful to Melissa? It's unthinkable. They misdiagnosed her, you know. If they caught it earlier, no, there's no justice, bloody doctors. She's my harshest critic. She's of everything I ever did. Truth is, I'm all talk. Big dirty mouth me, I think about it, talk about it, and do what? Nothing. Sure, I sowed a few wild oats before I met Melissa, but I had one rule, you see.
And what was that?
I had to fall in love with a girl before I betted her. I had to tell her I loved her, and I had to hear from her that she loved me. Problem is that I don't think I loved anybody until I met Melissa. And then I found commitment suited me. Not much of a virtue in this day and age, but that's how it was, and that's how I am. You, on the other hand, never mentioned the opposite sex. Makes me think that you're a little bit of a Casanova. Were you?
I had my little moments.
I'd love to hear about it in every dirty detail.
Hold on. Ah, there, that's better. Melissa. I think she was one of the most beautiful and dignified people.
Shut up, Reg. I need to concentrate. We all do.
How are my eyes?
Perfect. Now, if there's anything else I can do
Oh,
for
for God's sake, stop being so helpful and kind. I can't bear it.
I'm not helpful. I'm not kind. I'm repentant.
What do you have to be repentant of?
I've led a very desolate life.
Nonsense.
I have.
I think that's better.
You should try that. With the best.
People once told me that I crave affection. That's why I'm so flighty.
We all crave affection. We all want to be loved.
I was sent to England for boarding school when I was very young. My mother and father remained in India. I hardly even knew them. My father's name was Clive Robson. He was a colonel. He liked to be called the Clive of India. He had a rather hurtful tongue, and he died right before I was about to finish my schooling. Mother thought it best I didn't come back for the funeral, so I stayed with my Aunt Fiona. She wasn't a very kind person. She was dead against me becoming a singer, and then Mother wrote to tell me that she was coming home. But she died a week before that ship set sail. I don't remember the last time I saw either of them, Mother and Father, that is. So I said to Aunt Fiona, goodbye, and thank you for everything you've done. And I never saw her again either.
How do I look?
Dreadful.
Too much?
You look a bit like a high schooler that hasn't gone through puberty yet.
I think it's too much.
Perhaps they're right. Let's see what we can do.
Jean, I don't want you to think that I'm asking for sympathy. No. NSP. No self-pity. But men were an awful distraction, and they never treated me very well, though I suspect I encouraged that.
You and me both, dear.
In my case, Jean, I think I have to tell you, I had a fling with Enrico Cardinal.
Did you, sissy?
Yes, I did, but he was a dreadful disappointment. Then again, they all were. Can't put it more delicately than that.
Was this while I was with him?
Yes?
And I thought he was gay.
Oh, he was. He kept trying not to be, though. He was Catholic, you see. He confessed to me. One of those awful late-night confessions where you're lying side by side, and he starts off by saying, "This has never happened before." And then it just all comes out.
Why are all the most attractive men gay?
That's just our luck, I suppose.
Do you think Reggie's gay?
No!
How would you know? I know you didn't have a fling with him.
Oh, of course not. He's not much my type. He's much too genteel, and his antennae are never up. He gives off no scent, and I like my men manly. Alas, that's not a very common quality in men.
Do me up, will you?
But why are you, of all people, asking me about Reggie? Aren't you married to him?
Not long enough.
How long?
Exactly 9 hours.
9 hours?
Shh! You mustn't hear. It's too humiliating, and don't tell anybody, especially not Wilfred. Not something I'm too particularly proud of.
9 hours.
We married at 3 o'clock on a Sunday afternoon in May. We left the reception around 8:30. My father gave us a suite at the Savoy Hotel where we were to spend the night and then off to Rome the next morning for our honeymoon. We had a champagne supper in suite. I remember Reggie had scrambled eggs, toast, and lime marmalade. Then, around 11 o'clock, we undressed. He in the bathroom and I in the bedroom. I lay on the bed, waiting, and he returned wearing his pajamas, lay down next to me, and turned out the light. The night two had one of those awful confessions laying side by side in the dark. Only with Reggie, it wasn't so much, "This has never happened to me before," but more, "This always happens, and according to doctors, always will."
Poor Reggie.
Poor me.
And then you just walked out?
First, I tried to comfort him, to encourage him,
But to no avail.
but to no avail.
And then you walked out.
No, I didn't walk. I ran. I took a taxi to a temperance hotel in Russell Square and slept soundly. Later, years later, several husbands later, I discovered that sex was much overrated, and I thought it terribly messy. I should have stayed with Reggie.
Do you think all men are like that? Unable and uninterested?
More than we suspect.
I'm always surprised to see that the human race has survived this long. I wonder what young people would say if they could hear us now. When I was young, I thought the elderly had no kind, or no lives of any kind, and especially not love lives. And here we are talking nothing else. How odd growing old is. One would think that we only talk about God, death, and the life hereafter.
Will's right, for once. You never do grow up. As a little girl, I was terrified even the mention of the word death. I still am. Let's talk about sex.
You should go see one of Cedric's seances. I went months ago. His spirit's guide's name is Red Eagle. When we got there, Cedric asked if there was anyone for Cicely Robson, and the message came back, no one has arrived. Will you do me out now, Jean?
Let's see with the girls, okay?
Okay.
How's this? Any better?
Yes,
much.
They approve!
Sissy, it's too tight. I can't fasten it.
But I altered it. Do try.
I am trying, Sissy. You were too hopeful.
I'll take it out. Oh God. Oh God. Well, I'm off then. Goodbye.
Sissy, where are you going?
Home. Didn't I tell you? First class ticket.
What are you talking about?
I'm traveling first class. I've never done that before. Only coach. I do hope my nanny remembers me. Well, goodbye then.
Sissy! Crisis! Oh no.
How dare I forget to say goodbye? Goodbye, Wilfred. Goodbye, Reggie. Wish me bon voyage. I'm off to see India again.
Oh, God, if they catch her in the States.
Sissy, you're not to leave this room. It's Verity's birthday gala. Carlos is in the audience, and he told me he cannot wait to see you perform. We're doing the Quartet from Rigoletto, Sissy. The Quartet.
I do hope it goes well.
Oi.
I'll be sure to send you guys a postcard from the Nile. All aboard!
Oh, she's done for.
Sissy! Hold yourself together. Take hold, Sissy dear. Take hold. You're not going anywhere. You're going to stay here with your fellow artists, with your friends. Sissy, your ship doesn't sail for another 2 weeks.
It doesn't? What time is it?
Late. Get to work on your costume.
Oh, it's always the little things that upset one. I know it'll fit. It'll fit.
That was a close one.
Well done, Jean.
I had a lot of experience with my mother, only she became violent.
Oh, yes. I wanted Sissy to fix up my beard and my mustache.
Why not? Make her feel wanted.
Hey, Sissy, I don't want to fuss you, but once you're done, could you go over there and give me a hand?
In a moment.
I lied.
About what?
I was unfaithful to Melissa. Once with a woman in Amsterdam and twice with another one in Germany. She never suspected, although she did ask me why I was taking 3 baths a day. Were you unfaithful to Jean? Is that why she left you?
I prefer not to talk about these things. Thank you very much.
Yes, of course. I bet you were a stallion in your quiet way. I bet you were. That reminds me, I should do my socks before I forget. Well there. Oh. Reg, help me up, please. Ooh. There we go. Well, hello! Remember I had a thought for you about art?
No.
I did.
When?
I don't know. Yesterday, a month ago, last year, I have no idea. You were saying something to me how I had amazing insights.
And yes, you do.
Now listen. Art is meaningless if it does not make you feel.
Let me see that. Art is meaningless if it does not make you feel. That's beautiful, Wilfred.
Thank you very much.
I just know it to be true. You see, I was right. You do have these amazing insights. What does it matter if art is dazzling, or original, or stylish, if it does not touch one here? See, Ernest Newman's right. Poetry is a digression. Ooh, I think I might add that to my intro.
How's that? Am I a fine figure of a man, or am I not?
I have to say, I find it very distasteful.
There we go. There, let's try again.
Are you almost ready, sissy? It's getting late.
In a moment, in a moment. Well, just thank God for that.
Reggie's first.
Oh yes. I want you to fix my beard and my mustache.
I'd love to.
I'm trying to concentrate. Can't you find somewhere else to sit?
I wanted to have a little chat.
About what?
About our sticks. I think we should try to perform without them.
I don't know if I can. My hip's very bad tonight.
So is mine. We gotta try. I think it's more operatic. I think it's more dignified. I'm sure it'd be very much like standing in the wing right before you go on to stage and dying for a pee, and then you're completely forgetting.
I may have to lean on you.
Lean on Reg. He'd be pleased. He adores you.
Does he?
Oh yes. I don't think he's ever stopped loving you.
How do you know? Has he said so?
No. But I have these amazing insights, you know.
How ironic to contemplate a future with Reginald Paget.
I wonder what we'll all do when this is all over.
There, all done. What do you think?
Ooh, excellent, Sissy. You're a true artist.
Thank you, Reggie. And you mustn't worry. It's never too late. Just think of the Eiffel Tower. And if that doesn't work, there's a man in Madras who mixes the most magical potions. Do you need anything, Wolf?
No, just the usual if you'd be so kind.
All right, but you have to sit on your hands. I know you.
I'll practice walking without my stick. I managed without it at Covent Garden. Did I tell you? I received a standing ovation.
And don't be long, you two. I think we're on next. You look very beautiful, Jean.
And you look very handsome.
And soon we'll be young again. Married.
This year, in aid of our rebuilding program, you all have given so generously, and for that we thank you from the very bottom of our hearts. And because of your generous support, the Quartet has done it. Beecham House lives on. I'd also like to thank those involved with the gala itself. These rehearsals and preparations have kept everyone very busy for the past few months. And I and all of my staff here at Beecham House would like to thank those here today. We have a great privilege here looking after our people. And before we begin, I would like to say one more thing. I and all my staff here owe those in our care a great privilege. They inspire us. Their love of life, as you well know, is infectious. And it gives us great faith in the future. I mean that. Thank you so much. And without further ado, the Quartet performing Act 3, Scene 1 of Rigoletto by the great maestro Giuseppe Verdi.
Thank you.